in this video, I'm going to go over how to start a newsletter using Beehiiv. So let's just start with the video. So let's set this up here. Okay, so some of the things that we're going to go through in this video are some of the most simple things that you want to have set up when you start your newsletter. So first off, of course, we'll be going through choosing your ESP, so your email service provider, right? Which of course in this video you're going to guess is Beehiiv, right? A welcome email, surveys to add, templates, automations as well, segmentations, best practices, and of course optimizing your landing page to get those people to subscribe to your newsletter when they arrive to the landing page. So let's go to the next slide. So like we have here is which ESP to choose, right? So there's a ton of great ESPs out there that you could choose to start your weekly or daily newsletter, right? And that's the best part about email is that if you don't like one service provider, right, you get to export it at any time and just switch to another email service provider, right? So that's one of the best things about email marketing and starting a newsletter. So for this video, right, we're going to focus mostly on Beehiiv, right, because that's the email newsletter that I use. And I know a little bit much more than the other two. So the first reasons why I recommend Beehiiv is the main thing that made me choose Beehiiv out of the other two, ConvertKit or Substack, is the price, right? It's just, the price is just, much more affordable to start with. They have a free plan and a very generous free plan as well. So like if you have less than 2,000 subscribers, the free plan will be enough for you. So one of them, of course, is the price. The other one is just really, really simple to start an email newsletter with Beehiiv, right? They make it super simple. They have, a great, how do you call it, editor. So it allows you to quickly design a nice newsletter that really looks really nice as well. And of course, the automations, right? Now, of course, the automations are not at the ConvertKit level yet, but like every week they're shipping out new features. And so it's just really, really good. Next, the welcome email, right? So the welcome email is, an important email that you want to have in your email newsletter. Now, this was one of the first mistakes when I started my email newsletter. I'm pretty sure I did not have one. I learned as I went about like email marketing and newsletters, right? And so a welcome email, of course, is just, a simple email when somebody subscribes, right? It's not the opt-in email that you see. So if you subscribe to an email newsletter, they probably have this where after you subscribe, right, you get an email that sends an opt-in, right? That's not a welcome email. The welcome email kind of sometimes looks like this, right? So, it's a tip, it like one of the first things that you want to have in your welcome email is to make it short, right? Don't make it too long, right? This is just a quick introduction to newsletter to your new subscriber, right? So try to make it short, right? Share what to expect in your email newsletter, right? So, people when they subscribe, maybe they don't know what to expect, right? And so you want to have this as well, so that they know what to expect from your email newsletter, and just to make sure that they are in the right place as well. And then the next thing, this just like, a bonus tip pretty much is add a photo or video, right? So like, as you can see here in my example, right, I have a photo, right? And this just goes to show that there's somebody behind this email newsletter, right? There's a ton of email newsletters that don't do this. I'm not sure why, right? And so they just don't show that there's actually a real person behind the email newsletter that writes this email newsletter every single week. So it's just something simple, easy. Number two is, I got to really update these numbers. And number two is having surveys set up in your email newsletter, right? So surveys are going to go a long, long way if you have Beehiiv, right? And Beehiiv really, like makes it super simple to set up this survey as well. So one of the best things about having surveys, right, is you gain this insight information about your subscriber, right, that you can use in future videos, in future newsletter issues, right? So one of the few things that I get out of it, right, is content ideas, right? Like I have this question right here: why did you subscribe? What are you hoping to learn, right? And they respond to it, right? And so like every week, I just go and check and see like, hey, like what's something I could write about this week for this issue that people are asking a lot about. So it's just a really, really great way to get ideas as well, and just to learn a little bit of what you could sell, what you could write to your email subscribers, right? Like how many subs do you have, right? And so here I have like some data about my subscribers, right? About how much email and newsletter subscribers they have in their newsletter, right? So that I know what type of content I should be creating around based on all this data that I have about the people who submit their surveys. Number 3 or 6 is templates, right? So you want to have templates. You want to create a template when you start a newsletter. Now, this is not like like you a must have, but I recommend you do this because this will save you so much time when you're writing out your email. Your either if it's a daily newsletter or a weekly newsletter, right? Because when you once you have a template, right, you'll know what to write about in every single section of your newsletter, right? Like you'll be able to write, okay, so in this section I want to have like curated section, and then like my deep dive, right? So also this will help your email newsletter subscribers know what to like, how your newsletter is going to work pretty much, right? So they'll know, okay, if they're only interested in the curate section, they'll maybe scroll all the way to the bottom of your newsletter, so because they know that that's where your curate section and that's that they're interested. If somebody's interested only in your deep dives, right? They'll be able to scroll and find the section of your deep dives, right? So it's just like not only is this easy for you because you'll be able to like just quickly just fill in the blanks right in your weekly or daily newsletter. But also your second is your subscribers are going to know how your newsletter works as well, and they'll be able to go to the area that interests them the most. So an example of a great template that I really enjoy is one by James Clear, right? So as you see here in the example, right, he has 3 ideas, right, from me. So every week's the same thing, right? His newsletter, right? So 3 ideas from me. So every week, he has 3 ideas at the top here from him, and then 2 quotes from others, right? And then one question for you. So 3, 2, 1, right? That's it. And every week's the same template, his email newsletter, and people already know what to expect, right? So in the first section, three things from him, 2 quotes from others, one question for you, right? And so that's why you want to have a template when you first setting up your Beehiiv newsletter. So next is automations, right? Now, I don't want to like overwhelm you with too much of the automations when you're starting out your email newsletter, right? When you're setting it up, right? But like it will do the hard work for you pretty much, right? So, like here's my welcome series that I have created, right, in my email newsletter, right? So it will do all the hard work for you, right? So like it will like nurture and go your subscriber, right? If you have like a product to sell, right, it will do the selling for you, right? So this like it will do all the work while you're pretty much sleeping, right? Like it's a typical saying, right? So some ideas of what type of automations that you could create, right? So welcome sequences, right? 3 to 5 days, right? If you don't want, if you have a 1 day welcome sequence, a one email welcome email, that's okay, right? But if you want to take it a step forward, like to the next level, right? You could set up a welcome sequence for 3 to 5 days. And so this just to nurture your subscriber, share more about you, right? Share more about what to expect, of course, a little bit more in the newsletter, right? If you have things to share with them, that's a great spot to do it, right? Also, remove inactive subscribers, right? Because you want to have like a clean email list, right? And protect your deliverability, right? So I have an automation that removes my subscribers after 90 days, right? So if they don't interact with my newsletter after 90 days, they're gone. Like they get one email warning and that's it, right? And if they're interested, like if they're like, why am I not getting any more emails, right? They could just resubscribe, right? Since I removed them, right? Like I said, we'll sell through, we'll give a bonus one, it will actually get you testimonials, right? As well. Like at my 60-day welcome series, right? On the 60th day, I ask the person, hey, like you've been subscribed to 60 days in my newsletter. If you've been enjoying it, you could leave a testimonial, right? And I have a link to a testimonial platform, right? Where they can submit testimonial. Then I add their testimonial and the landing page. So I give them like, you know, like a reason why they should give a testimony, right? Like they'll get featured in my landing page, right? And their newsletter as well will get featured when like in the bottom area, right? So next we have is you want to create segmentations, right? So you don't really, if you're getting started, like if you have less than like 50 subscribers, right? If you're just starting out, you don't really have to worry about segmentation yet, but it's just good to know about it. So segmentation, right, is to know your audience a bit more and to send the right emails to the right group of people, right? So like let's say you have a newsletter about dogs and cats, right? But maybe you want to send certain emails only to dog owners, right? Then you can segment, right? So if in the beginning they click that they're dog owners, right? Then you'll be able to segment the group by dog owners and send them emails only about dog stuff, right? Because you don't want to send cat related emails to dog owners, right? Because they'll be like, I don't have a cat. Why are you sending me these emails, right? So you want to send them, the right emails to the right group of people, right? And also it's just good to know, right? Like let's say like I have two groups of people right here, right? I have US subscribers only, right? And I get to see how how active they are in my newsletter, and I have my Canadian subscribers only, right? And so like let's say I want to send emails to only my Canadian subscribers. Maybe I have something I want to give them, right? And I could just send an email to only Canadian subscribers only, right? And then the same thing with US. And so yeah, it's just a great way just to send the right email to the right group of people. So best practices, right? So when you're starting out your email newsletter, right, you want to have your subject lines nice and short, right? So an example is like how to grow an email newsletter, right? It's short, right? How to grow an email newsletter. It's 5 words, right? Less than 5 words, you should be okay, right? Longer, like, so you could add a longer subject line if you want, but the only thing is that, it just, because a lot of people read their emails on the phone, right? So it gets cut off, the subject line. So you want to have it short as well. And also, it's just curiosity as well. But you don't want to do how do you call it? Clickbait, right? You don't want to do that, right? Because if you have a subject line, then your newsletter is about something else, then people are just going to lose trust on you, right? So don't do clickbait, right? Have the unsubscribe button, right? So you want to have this, right? Beehiiv makes it really simple, like very built in, a subscribe button. But let's say, if you have like a lead magnet or a lead magnet, right, that people subscribe to your email, right? They get the lead magnet, right? I like to have an unsubscribe button in my lead magnet email, right? So that I could give up, hey, like, do you still want to receive emails from me? You're in my list now. If you don't, you could just click the button and unsubscribe and enjoy the lead magnet, right? No hard feelings, right? Like your data reports every time, right? You want to see if you're getting low open rates or low click rates, or I mean, mostly open rates. If you're getting low open rates, right? Then you want to know why that's going on, right? It might be your list is not really, you might need to clean your list, right? Maybe people are not engaging in your list, right? And so you want to remove the inactive subscribers that are ruining your deliverability as well. Apply to readers when they write to you, right? I know this doesn't sound like best practices, but like it's a best practice, right? People take time out of their day to write, if you're asking for feedback in your email, in your weekly issue or daily issue, right? Write back to your readers, right? It goes a long way, right? So I do this, I try to do this as much as possible, right? I, right now I reply to every single email that I get, right, from an email newsletter, right? Maybe it'll be a day late, but I will reply to you. Only if it lands in the spam folder, then I might miss it because I don't really check my spam folder too much. But yeah, ask for feedback, right? That's another great practice, right? So you want to know like what's working, what's not working in your email newsletter, right? What people like about it, what don't people like for it, right? Optimize for mobile, right? Mostly this is built in already in Beehiiv. They already optimized the email newsletter for mobile. But if you're using something else, then you want to optimize it for mobile. Clean your list, right? Clean your list. So, it's super important because your deliverability is really important, right? You want to make sure your emails are landing in the inbox and not the spam folder, right? And so cleaning your list will help you do that as well. And so to avoid that spam folder. And then personalization if possible, right? So like, hey, like, in your issue, you could be like, hey, John, I really enjoy this. Like, hey, John, and then, continue writing your issue, right? So just make a little bit of personalization if it's possible, right? If it supports it. So that's pretty much it, right? And then of course, the last part is optimizing your landing page, right? So your landing page, right, is what people, if you have a landing page, right, it's the first thing that people will see to decide if they want to subscribe to your email newsletter or yes or no, right? So first you want to have your why, right? Why should somebody subscribe to your email newsletter, right? So, this is an email newsletter, my landing page for my own personal newsletter, right? Do you have a newsletter, right? A question, right? I'm asking them a question, right? And if they say like, I'm asking them, do you have a newsletter? Because, and then join 300 creators, right? 300 plus, right? So I'm giving them like, like kind of like social proof, I guess you could call this, right? And then for weekly, a Saturday email packed with insights, strategies, and resources to elevate your newsletter game, right? Subscribe for free, and level up your newsletter, right? And then I made fun, right? Give me your email, right? Subscribe for free. Or I give them the option, let me read it first, right? If they're not into it, then they can read it first, right? And then of course, like I said, social proof, right? You want to have social proof. So here, if you scroll down, right? So let me just take you to my page here. So here it is, right? So I have social proof right here. So you know, this will help you as well because people will be like, oh, okay, like people actually read this and they like his newsletter, so why not subscribe, right? And they can quickly just give me their email, right, and subscribe, right? So I hope you enjoyed this quick little overview video of how to set up your email newsletter, what things you should have set up when starting out your email newsletter. Now, if you guys have any questions, you could just ask them in the comment below and I'll be happy to answer them. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.